Hello, blessed soul family. So, this is kind of crazy, but I have plenty of room on my phone, and I'm seeing that we only have 17 minutes and 45 seconds. And I feel like that's good. I'm asking Spirit right now. Is that good? Is that all we need today? They're saying that's all we need today because we're in the waxing GIBBOUS energy. Welcome to the Spiritual Guidance Channel. If you're new here, I'm the Magical Medium. We are going to be pulling cards from these 3 decks today. Our words for waxing GIBBOUS energy are refine and focus. So we have 3 decks in front of you there. This is a reading for all of us, but there may be some that you're more pulled to than others. But this is my deck here, and then we have the Wisdom of the Avalon and the Native Spirit. And so I'm going to pull cards from each one. I kind of feel like this is not a drive-by reading, but I kind of feel like there's a lot going on. I just know so many people who it doesn't matter like where you live, what part of the world, you know what I mean? Like I feel like a lot of people are struggling in different ways, different capacities, not trusting themselves. And let me tell you something. I have cuts, burns, and scrapes on both of my hands because I haven't been focused lately. I've been trying to do too much. And when we try to do too much, that's when we start hurting ourselves or knocking things over or spilling things or, oh, I'm clumsy. It's like, no, you're not clumsy. You're not focused. And so I have been working diligently on this task, like, because I know that that was something that I really needed to work on. And all of a sudden it occurred to me today when I burned myself again, because in like the last, like, I don't know, 72 hours, I have either burned, scraped, or like cut myself like 4 times on my hands, which is not like me. And I don't know if I say like me, but you know what I mean? It's just not where I normally am. So I'm like, what is going on, Spirit? I'm like, and they're like, you're not focused. You're in too many places. You need to stay on task right now. And every time another horrific thing happens in the world, and we see it on the news or we hear about it around the water cooler at work or whatever's going on, gossip from friends, family, on social media, whatever. It's just more shit. And let me tell you something. Not everything you see in here is real. And some is. And that's where we have to decipher. But they're trying to make us scared and they're trying to make us off, focus. Everything. They're doing everything in their power to make sure that the lines of communication with spirit are in static. That is what they're trying to do. So I'm going to bring in some more light. Okay, so let's see, Spirit, where do we as a tribe, what advice would you like to give us, beautiful Mama Way, as one of my shamans used to say? Because I'm feeling like a very like ancient medicine woman vibe. Like I'm feeling a divine feminine from this deck today. Okay. Ooh, peace pipe. Okay. So I'm getting from Spirit that some of us need to make peace with ourselves and others. Sometimes we need to focus on the healing and not on what someone did to us, quote unquote, right? Like, you did that to me. I'm mad now. And and it's like, yeah, but what part do we take in it? And what part do we want to be? You know what I mean? Like, we get to decide who and where and when and what we give our energy to. That is our free will. So, where are you putting your energy? What needs refining and focus? Wisdom of Avalon. Beautiful. I love this deck. Oh, and I just looked down and I saw a swan on the bottom of the book. And so let us work with the swan spirit animal. Walk with grace. But swan spirit animal. And if you hear me call things out, that's for you to look up on your own, whatever search engine. So you would just put in swan, spirit animal, and whichever one you're drawn to. Sometimes, you have to remember that every person that's putting anything out into the world, they are putting that information out at their own level of consciousness, myself included. And our levels of consciousness are different, and they change and they grow and they evolve. So, just remember that some person might write one thing about a swan and another person is going to write something completely different about a swan. Oh my goodness. The Lady of the Lake. We got the cover. Ooh, I always feel like when you get the cover, it's like, ooh. So they have different like parts of, see my thumb? See that burn? They have different things up here, whether it's the spirit animals, blah, blah, blah. But this one is the Messengers of Avalon. It's also number 8. And I don't know why, but I feel like 8 is associated with the swan. Don't quote me on that, but look it up if you are interested. But 8 is about infinity, but it might mean something personal to you. So this is absolute truth, courage, self-respect, and responsibility. So what we need to refine and focus is absolute truth, right? Speaking our truth, saying it with courage because we believe it, but having self-respect enough to not be rude or treat someone like crap, because think about this. We don't want someone to treat us the way, we want to be treated the way we would treat others. So, and responsibility. So no more victim, maybe it's time for you to take responsibility for who you are. And maybe it's time for you to extend the peace pipe to somebody. Is there somebody in your life that you've been struggling with, or you know what I mean? What's going on there? Okay, so let's see if any messages come from my deck. All right. I have a really big deck, so I always kind of let Spirit, decide how it's going to go. I made them out of index cards, but they're so fun. They're so fun. I'm like, should I move? They're like, no. They know it's the Lady of the Lake. I'm like, okay. And if they want me to go into the books, I will. Ooh, interesting, because we're in the waxing gibbous moon, and look at this. I feel like also, I've been hammering this for a while, so has Spirit, about working with the moon cycles. And I feel like for some of you, like this is a huge wake-up call from Spirit. Like you really need to work with the moon cycles. It will change your life. I'm telling you with living proof, I changed to the magical medium when Spirit wanted me to start specifically doing readings for the moon. And today in real time is Moon Day. It's a Monday. It's a Moon Day, my magic day. I was born on a Monday and a Moon Day. And so it made so much sense to me when I started to research my life more, my past, all past, and outside of this lifetime as well. It just made so much sense. And so if you are struggling in any way and you're looking for, I know some people are like, I need a routine. I need a, then plan your life by the moon cycles for a little while and see what that feels like. Because ever since I have been doing that, it's just changed my life dramatically. And I can tell you this, I have more peace in my life. And because I do the readings, it's like my job, but I get to, like, I know I work on new moons. I know I work on full moons or within the 24 hours of it, but then it's kind of cool in first quarter and third quarter / last quarter. But when I'm doing the waxing and the wanings, gibbous and crescent, those Spirit gives me a little more leeway. They're like, somewhere in the middle, like closer to the middle is always more perfect, perfect, quote unquote. Those are my words. But I started going on this flow, and now that I go with the flow of the moon, it's really magical. And I celebrate the cycles, and I understand, like right now I'm like, shit, I'm tired, man. The full moon's in a few days and I'm tired. I didn't even bring my calendar down, and they're like, just focus on right now. Remember they were saying that this moon cycle, they really just wanted us to focus, since we're going to have 2 moon cycles in Aries, which is rare. It's not like crazy rare, but it doesn't happen all the time. but this was the first one that, it's okay if you didn't set intentions, because normally I'd be like, what intentions did you set? We're in the refine and focus. Now I'll refine your intentions. And so if you are, great, that's wonderful. If not, I feel like for some of you, you're not sure what to do right now. And Spirit's like, just focus on the moon cycles. Just focus on the moon cycles. That's why I'm telling you, it will change your life. Any more messages, Spirit, from this deck? No. Okay, so no more from mine. Let me see if we have any more from Native Spirit. Okay. And do we have any more from... Okay. So I'm going to read from the books. The first one is the Peace Pipe. And also, what do you see and feel in these images? Like, what's going on for you? There's many of us here. And the tribe is growing. Not, it's interesting. The picker readings, I obviously, I say obviously because I think more people, these days are like, are into the picker readings than these readings that I do that aren't a picker reading. They're more like teachings, that I'm kind of filtering. Like right now we're working with Native Spirit and the wisdom of the Avalon. To me, it's like we're working with the ancients right now, right? We're working with the ancestors. And so it doesn't surprise me that the moon came out. Also, they wanted me to point out that the Lady of the Lake is holding a sword. So, remember that swords are about communication in tarot. So it could be, interesting that we have this card that says communication in the Peace Pipe. So the Peace Pipe says, heal old wounds with people and situations. Carefully do whatever you need to do to make amends. Forgive yourself and forgive others. It's time. You no longer need to carry the burden. You're a mender. Help others mend bridges in their lives. You bring peace to the world. Your Native Spirit wants you to know, in Native traditions, sharing a peace pipe filled with sacred tobacco and herbs was a way of finding common ground and dropping discord. It was a respite in order to calmly assess a situation and find a peaceful resolve. Ooh, I was going to say resolution, but it was resolve. Interesting. There are times to drop everything and leave. There are also times to carefully mend bridges with people, situations, and places. This is one of those healing times. Maybe there's a wound inside you that needs to be forgiven or accepted. Maybe you need to forgive yourself or forgive another. Transform the inner grievance and do it now. You don't need to forgive the act, but there's power in forgiving the person. You no longer need to carry it with you. Perhaps there is a person from your past with whom you should reconnect. You know what you need to do. This is the time to do it. So whomever came through at that time, you know what I'm saying? Whoever pinged in your intuition, your mind, your mind's eye, or maybe not now, but like when you're sleeping, you have a dream about somebody, or you know what I mean? You'll know. The journey is, so this is our homework, your mission, should you choose to accept it. So if you want to if you want to pause this right now and get pen and paper for homework, or maybe you'll just remember it. But anyway, the journey here is write down the answer to these questions. First question, if there was an area of my life to which I need to bring peace, what might it be? Second question, what's the first step that I need to take toward resolving a rift with another or a feeling unfinished regarding a person or situation? Then take action. Okay? Nice. It seemed like there was going to be more questions than that. Okay, so hold on. I'm going to get the other book. Okay. Listen, soul family, I'm not going to lie. I'm so grateful that it's, I don't know why they're doing it, but I'm grateful because I'm dog tired and I've been like working my buddy off. I've been working my buddy off, my booty off. I've been working my booty off and I'm like, I know that I need to like take a break and like turn my phone off for a few days. So anyway, the Lady of the Lake. Absolute truth, courage, self-respect, and responsibility. The Lady of the Lake represents the highest order of respect for yourself and the manner in which you operate within the world around you. She is the harsher element of truth, where denial is swept away by a tidal wave of events. In the ancient legend of Avalon, the Lady of the Lake presented Merlin with the Sword of Truth, which had been claimed by Arthur, who became High King of Britain. The magic that welded this metal was fired by the will of the god/goddess. Consequently, when the Lady of the Lake appears, she demands nothing short of total truth and integrity, and she asks you to be mindful of all the signs, signals, and omens that present themselves to you. This is not the time to second-guess yourself or others. If a signal appears, be assured that a challenge has been presented. Moving forward without acknowledgement of the challenge will result in unnecessary difficulties. If the signal is to move, she pushes you to act, but do so, for a victory is imminent. Regardless of your question, the message is to take care when the Lady of the Lake appears, as serious business is at stake. The lady reminds you of your personal responsibility in shaping your reality and its consequences. Seek the sword of truth within yourself, and great success will be yours. Have courage, for when the lady appears, the strength of Avalon is behind you in support of your quest for wholeness and abundance. Yes. And you know, this has been coming up. Do not forget that Saturn is in Pisces. This came up again yesterday. We have a new tribe member. Welcome, Nadine. And we did some really great work together yesterday. And one of the things that keeps coming up for all of us is truth and integrity, right? Speaking our truth, owning our truth, but doing it with integrity, right? And self-respect, loving ourselves first, and being responsible for our own situation and what we got ourselves into. Now it's time to change. We're not victims. It's interesting how we were like born and raised to go through all these different like forms of self-hatred, you know, over centuries and centuries. Patriarchal energy keeping us down. I watched, you guys know I love, if you follow my Lula's Life channel, you know I fucking love Taylor Tomlinson. She's like one of my favorite comedians ever. She brings out my Southside Chicago Kelly in all the ways good. But also reflection. She gives me a lot of reflection. But you know, she's been talking a lot about that lately, you know, and religion. And she had this one thing about the Old Testament, and she's like, I'm so glad God loves us more now. She's like, holy shit, if you ever read the Old Testament, you know. And it's true. It's like if you go through time and history, we haven't always been a peaceful people, you know. It's been a lot of stress, a lot of fuckery and fakery, you know. And I've been speaking of this for a while. So it's time for us to take our power back and live in our truth. And no means no. Remember, and when Saturn in Pisces, the three main words were boundaries, discipline, and karma. Don't go after other people. Let karma do her job. I promise you. Because when you put your own shit out there and you're like, well, I'm going to get this, or it's like, you can do whatever you want. That's your free will. But everything you do from the time you wake up until the time you go to bed, how you go to the bathroom, what beverage you have in the morning, everything you do is your choice. And every choice that we make has a good and a positive and a negative, right? Not a good and a bad, but a positive and a negative. That's how we learn. That's how we grow. But we must be responsible for it. So what peace do you need to make with yourself and others? Those are our messages, you guys. That's what we need to work on and refine and focus. I love you so much. Until next time, take good care of yourselves and each other, and have a blessed night, day, week, whatever. Love you. Bye.